sheriff or not, my ultimate goal is to save you money. With that being said, there's millions of dollars of grants that we can get for the sheriff's department simply because we have 238 feet of interstate. Now, I'm gonna give you an example on that as well. When they found the man's body on I-75, who went out there? Our coroner. Our resources, our gas to get there, paying him to say the man was dead. The investigations, EBI done, but ultimately comes back on Crawford County. If we had a hazmat truck flip over out there, Mike, you can agree with me or help me out. If we had a hazmat truck flip over out there, who's gonna go? Crawford County Fire Department, Crawford County Sheriff's Department. It's gonna be on Crawford County to fix it. That's why those grants are available. If we use them, we use them. If we don't, the state wins. But if we have a bad wreck out there with hazmat, Crawford County is going to pay for it. You, the taxpayers, are going to pay for it. That's why they offer us these grants. Now, me and Janet have talked about several times there are grants available, what we call in law enforcement, kite tail grants. You got the kite, which is the grant, and then you got the tail, which is all the other little things that follow in that they can come into our county and dictate what we do because they gave us money. We don't want those grants, we want the kite grants. This is just the kite. There's plenty of them out there. We can get a new jail, we can get better equipment. We can even, if the GOHS, Governor's Office of Highway Safety, will actually give us 2 positions as deputies that y'all don't pay for, the taxpayer. The state pays for it. It's there, all you gotta do is ask. I want to become sheriff to save this county, not ridicule the taxpayer, not kill the taxpayer. If anything, it will help the taxpayer. We need to get in schools, stop the bullying, stop the drugs. Never gonna stop it indefinitely, but like I said with the ants, the more you treat it, the less ants you have. The more you do drug interdiction, the less drugs you have, the less crime you have. This sheriff back to sensible law enforcement. Like I said in the first meeting I ever, or the first speech I ever gave, there's 12,140 people in this county as of the 2022 census. We need 12,140 people to follow one law, not 12,140 laws. Because you deserve the same thing my wife does. If I catch you drinking and driving, I'm gonna lock you up just like I do her. Simple as that.
Good luck on finding it, Greg.
Me too. I think we need more. I've talked about this many times, and people have told me, oh, there's the schools are in the city. No, the schools are in the county. The city is in the county. You have 12.25 hours in a workday. What would it hurt to take, and I've done this in Tweeds County. Our sheriff said, I don't care what day you do it, I don't care what school. We have 3 or 4 schools. A middle school, a elementary school, a high school, and a private school. He says, I don't care what day you do it, I don't care what time you do it, take your butt over there and walk through the school. And I left that meeting thinking, man, this is crazy. Why am I walking through a school? Well, quickly realized when we had active shooter training, I was the only little fat guy in there that knew where that hallway went, and that hallway went, and that hallway went. I knew because I had walked those schools. But not only did it stop there, I go to a domestic where we leads me to my next thing, and I tried my darndest to run a very clean campaign. Every time I see Lewis Walker, he's in a suit and tie, unless he's at a funeral. And he's got that uniform on that says sheriff. I think of Donald Trump every time I see that. You're going to a funeral, not because you want to send your condolences, but because you want to harvest votes. And I think that's fairly dirty to me, in my opinion. I'm not going to somebody's funeral that I don't know. I'll go by the family's house and give my condolences. You know, sorry for your loss. If there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. I'll do that all day long. I tell people all the time, you call the sheriff's office, and y'all can challenge me. Call the sheriff's office and ask for a sheriff. You'll get a call back. Miss Janet didn't. Miss Janet, am I correct? Did you ever get a call back when you called and asked?
I did not. I'm very, very disappointed
Okay.
in how that situation
Well, I can
was
tell you
handled.
this. That number right there on the back of the card that I hand out to everybody, I probably handed out to every one of y'all, has my personal cell phone number. You won't be calling the secretary, you'll be calling me personally. If you need me, I'll be there. Luckily enough, I have a wife that allows me to be very open and available. She's just as big a part of this as I am. But I'm running to make this county better, safer, more economical. I think we need a new jail, we need to make money off that jail to take the load off of the taxpayers.
All right, any other questions?
Yes,
I'd
ma'am.
like to know about some of the laws on the books in Crawford do you stand on feral animals? Should that department be under law enforcement? Or
Absolutely.
should, okay, because I was gonna say, or should it be in planning? and
Right
zoning?
now, it's under planning and zoning. I have talked to Bibb County, I have talked to Houston County,
Correct.
they're both under law enforcement. And the thing is, citations written, if planning and zoning writes you a citation, they have no authority.
Correct.
So you take it, and throw it in the garbage, nothing they can do. However, if I write you a ticket, you don't come to court unless you're official.
Under animal control officer, if there's gonna be a citation, then they have to go to a deputy at the sheriff's department to do that citation, okay? And there are laws on the books. There's an 11-page ordinance dated 2009, which talks about feral animals and animal enforcement. And I will also go back to the young lady's question under paragraph 7.6. Under that, if a dog is vicious, you have the right to defend yourself. I will also mention this: if you're going to be doing a call-in to the animal control officer, not only call it in, record it, and or use other forms of documentation. That will prove very legitimate.
Body cameras,
It's document. Anyway, I'm going to show you, I do want to ask that one question and also give you my critique, and I'll give you kudos.
And we have one more question, and then we're gonna wrap this up, but Jean is happy to stay and answer
I'll
any
answer
other
any of y'all's
questions
questions.
you have.
When you go to this subway, don't eat outside in the back. You think you can enjoy yourself, but there's some dangerous people that pressure you for money. If something needs to be
that's
done
called
about it.
panhandling, there's a law against that.
Because I about thought I was gonna have to protect myself physically against this.
One more thing I wanna mention on, since I have a deputy here, Crawford County has been running for, how long, Walter been sheriff? 16
Like
years?
12
I
years?
think Kerry Dunaway took over, no, he's been 16.
Is it
Oh.
I think sheriff himself, not
Yeah.
just deputy. He's
Oh,
30-something years.
and Lewis, I mean, Kerry Dunaway was sheriff, I think, since 1976. Crawford County does not have an SOP, standard operating procedure. I promise you, every one of y'all that has a job has an SOP. I have a SOP at the house waiting to be signed by the county attorney if I'm elected, and they'll have a guidance. How do you work a law enforcement agency without guidance? Everything is a lawsuit.
Darren, last question.
Simple question, you mentioned Dunaway and then Walker, they both had a, pretty much an unwritten policy on animals
Unwritten
and
policy does
individuals.
not exist.
They have an, if you call in and ask them, what do I do, they will tell you what to do. It's not written, it's spoken. If I have a large property and I have lots of wild dogs, am I gonna get in trouble if I do what needs to be done?
Depending on the deputy and what took place. If you say the dog routed, let me tell you a story, and I'm sorry.
I like you put it.
I actually locked up a probation officer in Houston County. You may know him. The dog had come up, dog was neighbors, come up and killed one cat and was fixing to kill the next one. He walks out with his gun, the dog takes off. He shot him. Bullet went in there and come out there. Very, very noticeable. Dog was running away. Dog was running to him, he didn't get here and come out here. Animal control comes out, oh, that's animal cruelty, you gotta lock him up. No, hold up. Goes back to that sensible law enforcement. I called my supervisor said, look, if animal control is pushing it, you gotta lock him up. Okay? So I locked him up, and he cried like a baby. Man, I'm gonna lose my whole career, I'm 5 years from retirement. Okay, we'll fix this. Don't worry about it. I said, look, do what I tell you to do, act sensible, don't show your butt, we'll take care of it. Take him to jail, they put him in. I told them, they said, we need a booking sheet. I said, hold up, let me go talk to the judge first before we do anything. I went to the judge, I said, Judge, look, this is a situation. He said, well, Jim, he says, do you think we ought to lock him up? Me personally, I think he was protecting his property. I think he was a little bit late, but he protected his property. I said, do I feel like if that dog went home under force, do I think he'd have came back and killed the cat? Yes, I did. He already had blood in his mouth. He said, okay. He said, what we'll do is OR bond him, and that'll be that. So he called over to jail, OR deputies that go out and write citations, those citations need to be enforced.
Citations that are being written go to magistrate court. Citations that are being written that goes to magistrate court, and then they do have a hearing. We do
And that's
have
where a sheriff needs to sit down with the magistrate.
more